Man, it's been a rough night, man. Going through it with my lady. Again, you fellas know what it's like. Been trying to record and stuff like that here on my phone. And I think I'm going to do a podcast about living single and what women want and what men want. I think that's going to be my next podcast, and I'm going to actually use the strongest characters that was on A Living Single, and Maxine, Erica, Alexander, Shaw, and Kyle T.C. Carson Barker, because that's where we at as far as black men and black women today. It's like it's almost like I guess a microcosm. Microcosm ain't the word. It's almost like a self-portrait of what is the perceived standard of black women and black men. But again, that'll be another upcoming podcast. Please believe me, I'm going to do it. Because again, I grew up in the 90s. I was an 80s baby, but grew up in the 90s. And I've seen certain characters and relationships that now are smacking me across my head. Simply because a lot of us still just don't get it. But shout out to my lady. I love her. So it really has nothing to do with her. It's just the dynamics of relationships that we're still at a crossroads. But anyway, I want to make a prediction that who's going to be in NBA Finals this year. And if it happens, I'm really through with sports, or really the NBA in general. I'm really gonna be through with it if it happens. You know how Cleveland made these incredible trades where they dumped 6 players and added 4 more. They added Larry Nance Jr. They added Hood, by the name Hood. I can't think of his first name right now. They added George Hill and another brother. His name escapes me right now, but you guys know who he is. And already, and I've been telling people, the Cavs did not have some sad roster. They didn't have a roster full of bums. They just had a lot of players who played the same position that didn't match up. And once again, it's a strategy that LeBron James wanted to, quote unquote, as we call it in spades, stack the deck. And when it didn't work, he's done what he's always done, is complain to the management, the owner, like, I need some more talent. I need some more players. We're front heavy, but we need some people coming off the bench. Negro, that's what you got in the offseason, Mr. General Manager, Mr. Head Coach / player. That's what you wanted, and that's what you got. All the talking heads, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Shannon Sharps, Skip Baylesses, the Nick Wrights, the Chris Carters, on and on, revered not only LeBron, but cheered the actual offseason moves that were made prior to this up-and-coming season. Now, all of a sudden, it didn't work. And I'm going to say this again. It didn't work because LeBron James is selfish with the basketball. He does not know how to play off the ball. He has to have the ball the majority of the time. And he never sits down as far as get rest. Ty Lue doesn't tell him what to do. He tells Ty Lue what to do. The same thing with David Black, the white man that was the coach of the Cavaliers. LeBron basically bullied that guy. He didn't necessarily bully Tyronn Lue because he knew it would actually look bad if he were to do such a thing. But this is what LeBron James wanted. And I don't understand why you daggone Cavalier lovers don't understand the guy that y'all want to put on the mountaintop of great basketball players. And this Negro has had so many just coming back to Cleveland. I'm not even going to Miami. Just coming back to Cleveland. How many players this nigga has had to have just to compete? But yet you have the media, you have your Nick Wrights, and all these other cats talking about how he makes players better, how he's the best player in the world. Well, last time I checked, when they said that with Jordan, he had to work with people like Judd Bushler, Steve Kerr, Bill Winnington. I mean, the list goes on. Cats that was just scrubs. In the basketball sense, especially in the urban black basketball sense, they were scrubs. They was the type of guys that when you wanted to play basketball, if you wanted to play pickup basketball, you pick everybody else but them. And if and when you picked them, they only had one job to do: shoot the ball when you're open. And you better make the shot, or else we ain't picking your behind again. But I'm going to give you my prediction. Because I told y'all, just like in the last podcast I had, what LeBron's going to do, what's going to happen, what the NBA is going to make happen. LeBron and his new team, they're going to go on an incredible run. They're going to win a whole bunch of games in a row. And you're going to be like, oh, look at the Cavs. Oh, look at the Cavs. LeBron's going to have a whole bunch of triple doubles. So much so, it's going to be a competition for the MVP. And because the second half of the season, once it begins, all them Shannon Sharps and sportscasters, and you know what? Speaking of Shannon Sharp, as much as we love him, because I love him, You know what I mean? I love the fact that he is on Skip Bayless's show, and the fact that he brings so much wisdom, intelligence, and he's his own personality. Guess what? He's part of the agenda too. What agenda I'm talking about? It's the LeBron James agenda. To bring him rolling back into the finals, and this time winning it. However, the team he's going to beat is the Houston Rockets. Mark my words, the Houston Rockets will go to the NBA Finals this year. They will lose in about 6 or 7 games, but they're going to the finals. LeBron is going to play against one of his homeboys, Chris Paul. James Harden is going to lead his team out of the Great Western Conference. The Warriors, I'm not saying their time is up, but what I will say is that the NBA wants a new attraction. They want a new attraction to help Mr. LBJ. Mark my words, it will be Houston and Cleveland in the NBA Finals. Even if Boston gets the one guy, I can't think of that dude's name, the white boy. Sorry if it sounds disrespectful, but even if they get him back, it's not going to be enough. Cleveland is too deep. They have too many shooters. And with the trades, it practically revitalized Cleveland. Funny how nobody is going to say, and they'll probably have it as one of their topics this morning, on Skip Bayless's show and on First Things First about Isaiah Thomas, but they still gonna crap on him because their excuse is gonna be, well, how are you able to play so good when you had an opportunity to play so good with one of the best players of all time? Easy. Because LeBron James has a certain system. They don't have an actual system. It's LeBron James' way or else. That's one of the reasons why Cleveland doesn't have practices. They don't have design plays. Nothing. It's let LeBron James figure it out. Everybody get out the way. Shooters be in your position. So when I have to pass it to you, you're in a position to shoot the ball. So I can get my stats. It's been reported. You had former Cavs who have said this. But you King James nefarious Negroes will still continue to ride this guy like he's the best thing since sliced bread, and he's not. He's not. Like I said, the only time I respected LeBron James is when he lifted the Cavaliers back in, what was it, 2007, when they beat the Detroit Pistons. When he actually had a killer mentality, he was like, nah, I'm not going to let my team slide. He beat the Pistons. lifted them to the finals, although they got swept by San Antonio. But you guys are continue to want to hold this crown full of rust, because that's what it is. It's a crown full of rust. But I'm telling you now, as God is my witness, is your NBA Finals will be Houston and Cleveland. Now that hurts me because I rock with Golden State only because of Steph Curry. Because I've been following the young man since his time at Davidson, when he was doing the improbable, lifting one of the smallest schools in Division I, Davidson, and bringing them all the way to, I believe, the Elite Eight, simply because he was a baller. And I knew then, I'm like, man, this guy right here, he's going to be one of the greatest NBA shooters, if not the greatest NBA shooters of all time. And is he not now? Another reason why I'm picking Houston to be in the finals is because Golden State has too many technicals. They have two players, Draymond as usual, and Kevin Durant. One of those players, if not both of those players, will get suspended in the playoffs, and it's going to cost them a game, and it's going to throw the whole team off. I don't care who Golden State gets in the buyout arena, as far as for players that's, have contracts that will get bought out. I don't care who they gonna get. It's not gonna matter. As much as the NBA and Adam Silver, whatever, loves the Warriors, and how much life and rejuvenation and money that Golden State has brought into the NBA, their GOAT that they're still banking on is LeBron. Because for whatever reason, they want that man to supersede Jordan. And it will never happen in the minds of true sports fans. Now, these young, naive millennials, yeah, you'll get some of them, a lot of them, but us Generation Xers, baby boomers, and beyond, or whatever category you want to put us in, nah, we know what time it is. And they want LeBron's legacy to be better than a under 500 NBA Finals record. And I'm telling you this too. Like I told you in the previous video, LeBron's not going to go anywhere. He may sign he'll probably sign a 2-year extension, but he's not going anywhere in Cleveland. If you watched that game against Boston yesterday, you saw how he was just, getting along with the new crew and, just loving what's happening and all that. I'm telling you now, this is why I will say, because there's not too many sports commentators are going to say this. This is why I'm going to say LeBron is one of the weakest mental athletes that the NBA has ever seen. And not only that, he is the most spoiled NBA athlete I've ever seen. And he is ruining the NBA. As my man Carcino will say. He has ruined the NBA. Usually when you have deceit, trickery, and just all-out criminal acts, it's done deceitfully. It's done behind the scenes. But no. With LeBron, you see it for what it is. They don't want no other NBA team in the Eastern Conference to supersede LeBron and his Cavs. They don't. This was supposed to be the year that Kyrie Irving and those guys were supposed to do it. And your Gordon Haywards. That's the guy I couldn't think of earlier. They don't have enough depth. And since they didn't really add much, because I guess they quote unquote playing by the rules, all the NBA wanted was the whole drama between Kyrie and LeBron, because it sparks ratings, it's good TV. But you tell me how good it is when Cleveland won 121-99 in Boston on Paul Pierce's day, when he was getting his jersey retired. Was that a good look for the NBA? The NBA purists? The fans? No. But, like I told y'all, the Cavs is about to go on a huge run. And this is without Kevin Love. They're about to go on a huge run. And everybody's going to forget all the wrong things that LeBron James caused this team. And they're going to focus on his play. They're going to want him to be MVP again. And the Cavs will waltz right into the NBA Finals. This is why I keep asking y'all, if I'm Toronto, why do I compete? Why do I try to do it the right way? Why do I try to get free agents? Why do I try to draft certain players and develop them? Same thing with Philly. Same thing with Boston. On and on and on. Milwaukee. On and on and on. Why? When the red carpet and the writing is already on the wall for Mr. LeBron James. The biggest crybaby star athlete I've ever seen. And I mean that because I'm from Ohio, here in Buckeye City. And if I were ever to meet him, I wouldn't want to get no pictures with him. I'll just walk right past him like he was just, Joe Blow on the street. Because he has ruined the game. And I can't respect that. It's already bad enough where you have people behind the scenes that want to make things rock. That want to make things, appealing to themselves. It's another thing when you have an athlete, a star athlete, who basically thinks like they do. I want everything tailor-made for me. Anyway, these are my paperless thoughts. Peace.